Welcome to episode, is this episode 10?
Oh
Of,
yeah.
wow, of Heartbreak and Hope, where Reverend Sabrina and I share the things that are breaking our hearts this week and the things that are bringing us hope this week. And we want this to be a practice that you engage with us. You are welcome to put your heartbreaks and hope in the chat or the comments for this video. We'll begin this morning with a reading from Rumi. Your song, a wished for song. Go through the ear to the center where sky is, where wind, where silent knowing. Put seeds and cover them. Blades will sprout where you do your work. So we light our chalice this morning. For the seeds we plant. Where are you finding hope? Or sorry, where is your heartbreak this morning?
You're not wrong because I've started trying to find hope in the news. Like I think everything is so overwhelming, but you know, the thing that I want to focus on today is that it's something related to Earth Day, which is this week, which is we're on the either it's already started or we're on the verge of starting a new El Nino cycle, which is not an abnormal thing to happen, but it's on top of um, a regular baseline increase in temperature, which makes things, if you listen to like weather forecasters and NOAA or whatever, makes it hard to predict what's going to happen. And typically El Nino means hotter weather and more unpredictable weather. And I'm really concerned about people in places at risk, which might mean coastlines, places that where it's already hot. And what's going to happen is that things usually uh, defy expectations in a way that can be expected, and now nobody knows what's going to happen. And you know, it's a little disheartening. Really is something that we can't, affect directly right now. We can work to affect it, but we cannot tell the weather to stop.
Right. We cannot tell the weather to stop. I've been reflecting this morning on the intersection of mental health and gun violence.
Mm, yeah.
I am just so, I've been, I've been grieving the family shooting in Shreveport that that this father, the folks knew he was struggling, that they knew he had mental health issues and access to guns led to this terrible loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think about how many people who die by suicide, how many of those deaths are gun related.
Yeah.
And how we could be doing better on both fronts.
Mhm. And I mean, the mental illness piece, I think, is due to this society that keeps us separated, that forces us to, work too much under conditions that are difficult and doesn't take care of each of us. And so we, we unlearn caretaking of one another. And yeah, definitely. There are the, you know, guns are not the single cause of death by suicide, but it certainly makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Uh, Instead of having that moment of pause, you know, if you ever fired a gun, you know how fast it goes.
Where are you finding hope this week?
Um, so yeah, I was cleaning out my office at home, just tidying up, and I found the book that I'm gonna read from for the closing words, and I just started thinking, how did I start with my practice of meditation, which I started like 20 years ago? How did that start? Like I tried to remember what my mindset was and what was I doing, because it's easy to think of 20 years ago, oh, that idyllic time of the early 2000s. It wasn't really that idyllic in my personal life, but also in the world, like the early 2000s. Though my child was born in 2005, so there is goodness in there, but but the world wasn't doing well. And before she was born, one day I just walked through the doors of a Buddhist community that did meditation
Hmm.
every day, and every day for an hour in the evening, and on Sunday for 3 hours. And it's like
Wow.
um I didn't do all 3 hours every Sunday, by the way.
Oh, I
Like
was all impressed. I was like, that's a really intense practice.
so like the practice was 1 hour, then 15 minutes walking meditation, then an hour, then 15 minutes walking meditation, then an hour, then coffee. Um,
Nice.
so you could pick and choose the only deal. I think it was you couldn't walk away, so you had to do the full hour. And I remember how, even though it was hard, it gave me uh, hope, and, to listen to all the people that had been doing it for a long time. And so that's how it started. And this is the uh, sort of like the foundation of my spiritual practice even today, although I don't do 3 hours of meditation every Sunday. Maybe I should, but it's like I have no time for meditation, then meditate more.
Right?
Um, and the thing that, pardon the language, how no bullshit it was. Like
Mm-hmm.
this was what it was. Your path to your faith and everything else was your own. All they did there was them clearing the mind. And so it gave me some sort of motivation to start over thinking about how I was doing it before. And so that's what's giving me hope, because hope is a practice and practice is a practice. What?
Yeah, I in just a few minutes I'm leaving to go to a press conference and I'm just really heartened. So about a little less than 2 years ago, several congregations formed what's called the LGBTQ plus Faith Alliance here in the St. Louis area. And they are congregations that support the LGBTQ community and welcome LGBTQ members and leaders. And so just this spring, in response to all of the anti-LGBTQ legislation that continues both in our state and in other states and nationally, they drafted and issued a statement of support for trans, intersex, and non-binary Missourians. and about 27 congregations, organizations, groups, and individual clergy and lay leaders have signed on to this statement. And so they'll be introducing it to the public this morning. And it gives me hope. It gives me hope that change is possible, right? I know that historically churches have had a role in discriminating against LGBTQ folks. I don't want to say demonizing, but
What about hurting?
hurting and rejecting.
Yeah, pushing them away.
Yeah. They've caught, churches and other faith communities have done such damage to the LGBTQ faith community.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it gives me hope to see that the change is possible, that people can realize that there is another way, and they can act to rectify their mistakes from the past, and create new possibilities in the future.
Yeah. It's good to see that.
So I understand you have some closing words for us.
Yes, I do have closing words from this book that I found yesterday. This is the Pay My Children collection. And it's from the book called Start Where You Are, which is the first book on meditation I've ever read. And I picked it with much hope. Picked it up at the bookstore with much hope. And chapter 1, entitled No Escape, No Problem, begins with these words. We already have everything we need. There is no need for self-improvement. All these strips that we lay on ourselves, the heavy-duty fearing we're bad and hoping that we're good, the identities that we so dearly cling to, the rage, the jealousy, and the addictions of all kinds, never touch our basic wealth. They are like clouds that temporarily block the sun. But all the time, our warmth and brilliance are right there. This is who we really are. We are one blink of an eye away from being fully awake.